am so surprised. Oh, thank you. And they said it all, didn't they? Our love for this teaching, our love for our God, our love for this community and of this community for everybody shall not die. Okay, I know now what's next, and I'm excited about it and for it. It's my pleasure to give you a little bit of information and background about the fantastic lady that's going to be speaking for us this morning. She's a relatively new practitioner, and over the last several months, we've been working together on a few things that I've come to truly, truly know and appreciate how she was like born to this work. She has a professional resume. We talk about change your thinking, change your life. She has a professional resume that has had a healing of people with mental challenges and a very vast amount of experience in psych and psych healing. And then it morphed into a paid professional advocate for people who need more psychological and psychiatric attention in the world. Now that's a pretty big chunk of change, isn't it? And it has truly made her suited to what it is we stand for here. So I would just ask my friend and colleague, practitioner Sharon Tice, to come to the stage.
Slow, but I'm steady. I'm not going to fall and make y'all laugh. All right. Oh, and you know what I forgot today? I forgot my glasses. I forgot a lot of things today. So if I stumble, please bear with me. I can't see. And I have to say, I was a little anxious this morning. I ran off and forgot my stole, but I have a beautiful prac sister, Sandy, whose stole I'm wearing. I wish to thank Clay for the beautiful slides that he's put together for this. So anyway, I'm going to do the best I can. Bear with me, because I can't see well without my glasses.
Do you want to try mine?
Let's try. That works. I'm stealing her glasses. Yeah. And that's what I'm going to talk about today. I have to tell you that this was not my idea. I spoke some time ago and I thought, okay, that's cool. But then I kept hearing the word prayer. Now, mind you, I pray daily. I pray a lot. But I kept hearing prayer. So I thought, okay, Spirit wants me to pray more. So I started praying more. And I kept hearing prayer. I'm a slow study, finally figured it out. Spirit wanted me to talk about prayer. So that's what I am here today. And I know that folks are in different places. We have people who've been in Science of Mind a long time, and they know all about prayer and the Science of Mind. Faith, our spirituality, and then there are new people who may not know as much. So as I said, today I'm going to talk about prayer. And as we know, there are many ways to pray. To me, however, the most profound prayer is actually the shortest, and that is the word thank you. Thank you to Spirit for fill in the blank. There are so many things every day in our life that we can be thankful for. And just take a second to say, thank you, Spirit. We can have gratitude. And we can have gratitude not just for the good stuff in our lives. For our lives are filled with good stuff and not such good stuff. And we need to remember that every event brings us growth. So we can have gratitude for any lessons that we have gotten from any hardships, any disappointments, any difficulties, any losses. Yes, sometimes we do have difficulty seeing the good in hardships, illnesses, losses that we encounter. But even in the loss of a loved one, we need to, within our grief, look for any blessings that that person or that animal, companion, or whatever it was that we have lost has brought to our life. For gratitude is simply opening ourselves up to more. It can be as simple as, thank you, Spirit, for the love that that person or that animal or that situation brought into my life. Anyway, according to Webster, prayer is personal to each person, and it's a dialogue between each person and God. And prayer has its foundation in the individual's beliefs, and there are so many beliefs in the world. Some prayers are formalized, such as the Catholic Our Father and Hail Mary. Other prayers are spontaneous and not formal. And prayer can be performed alone or in groups. Prayer may take the form of a hymn, an incantation, a formal creedal statement, or a spontaneous utterance. And various traditions offer a wide variety of devotional acts. Some people bow their heads and fold their hands. Some regard dancing as a form of prayer. Others chant mantras. Others sway and bow. Some prayers involve bowing, kneeling, and prostration. Some people keep silent, and some whirl actively like the dervishes. Some pray according to standardized rituals and liturgies, while others prefer extemporaneous prayers, and some combine the two. So as we see, prayer shows up in many forms, both formal and off the cuff. It can even be those little day things for which we can be thankful. Thankful that my dog is behaving today. Thankful that my cold is leaving. Thank you for this most glorious day, for there's always, always something to be thankful for. And so now let's spend some time looking at prayer from Science of Mind and the Ernest Holmes point of view. Please know that there are many words for God, and we have a slide of some of the words that are used for God. Note that today I'm going to use Spirit, God, and Source. Holmes asked the question, are prayers and treatments identical? And his answer was both yes and no. He states that when one prays his prayer, it is a recognition of Spirit's omniscience, omnipresence, and omnipotence, and a realization of our unity with Spirit. And then the prayer is is a treatment, a spiritual treatment. If, on the other hand, someone's holding the viewpoint that God is somewhere far off being, whom we would approach with doubt in our thoughts, wondering if by some good luck we might be able to placate God to hear our prayer, or persuade him of the wisdom of our request, then there is little similarity between prayer and treatment. Imagine a moody God that might decide to answer some people's prayers and not another. And yes, Ernest uses the term he and man, but let's remember the time that he was writing and talking. However, we must remember that Holmes also states, if prayer has been answered, it's not because God has been moved to answer one prayer and not another, but it's because one man more than another has moved himself into a right relationship with Spirit. He said, all prayers will be answered when we pray aright. The first necessity for our prayer is faith. Faith is the power behind our prayers. Faith is the mental attitude which is so convinced of its own idea, which so completely accepts it, that any contradiction is unthinkable and impossible. Also, let us remember the words of Jesus the Christ, who said, according to the Bible, when ye pray, believe ye have, and ye shall receive. So, according to Holmes, the law of mind into which we speak our prayers is not selective. It is receptive without caring what it receives. It's creative without caring what it creates. So when we have thoughts of lack, those manifest as limitations. Thoughts of abundance manifest as success and happiness. Failure and success are both two ends of one stick. So again, prayer in the broadest sense is communion with God. So let us take a look at some specific kinds of science of mind prayer. And the first one is Sharon dropping things. The first one is invocation. Now, invocation is a prayer in which we recognize that Spirit blesses a service, a meeting, a meal, whatever we are engaged in, and it inspires the speaker, the listener, and the subject. And it calls our awareness to the spirituality that is within and why we are gathered together. And an invocation includes recognition, where we recognize Spirit, the source of all. Then there is unification. Unification is knowing that all of the people are and always have been one with the source of life. And of course, there's thanksgiving, where we bless and give thanks for the speaker, the food, the message, etc. And it's noted that it lasts no more than 2 minutes, and there may be a moment of silence to connect to Spirit. Next, we have benediction, which again lasts no more than 2 minutes, and this occurs at the end of our meeting, our class, our service, our meal, etc. And the intention is to express gratitude for the blessings, the learning, and the inspiration of that event, knowing that everyone there will go on their various ways uplifted, and that each one leaves with the blessing of a safe journey home. A benediction may include, of course, thanksgiving, our gratitude, and a blessing, blessing the people, the message, the gifts, etc. And the ending, which is our ending of, and so it is. And that is invocation and benediction. And next, we have our spiritual mind treatment. Now, this is a specific kind of prayer. It's affirmative and scientific. It is the recognition, acceptance that God is all there is. There is no spot where God is not. And we are all spiritual beings. And that the abundance of the universe is ours if we accept it and if we embody it. It is a scientific prayer that's based on the knowledge that the universe is a wholeness in which God, as presence or love, works continuously as principle or law to manifest form or effect, and that this process takes place in a provable, reproducible manner, and that we can consciously allow it to bring about changes in our life. So it's scientific in the fact that it's provable and it's reproducible as far as the scientific method it goes. Anyway, treatment is affirmative. It's scientific, it's provable, and it's reproducible. So let's remember love, law, and manifestation. First of all, when we treat, it's important before we begin to clearly and specifically state the purpose of our treatment and the particular person that we are going to treat for. And then, when we have set our purpose, our treatment is then aligned with our purpose. So the first step after purpose is recognition. Recognition is where we recognize that God is the absolute reality, the only intelligence. We acknowledge the allness and the wholeness of spirit, and we specify the aspects of God that will be the purpose of our treatment, such as if we are praying for health, love, wholeness, etc. Our next step is unification, and that's where we realize that we are all part of the one. And we unify our thinking with spirit, recognizing that our mind is an individuation of God as our mind. We are one with God, one with Source. We acknowledge that there is only the one mind, and that mind is God's mind. And that mind is my mind. That mind is your mind. That mind is our mind. Everything is inseparable from Source. We declare our oneness with God. And if we are treating for another person, remember to speak about that person in the third person. We speak about Jim, Betty, they, not you. We accept the knowing that all statements made about the truth of you are the truth also of the other person for whom you're saying treatment. You declare that you are speaking your word for that person. Then there's the important step of realization. And during that step, that's where we give up all false beliefs, opinions, attitudes, and erase anything that has been causing a problem. We accept and embody our good. And we realize the good of the other person for whom we are treating. We declare that this is already true for that person. And we remember that the more clear and complete our realization is, the clearer and more complete our manifestation will be. And this step is complete when you realize that it is already realized. Also important to note is that if you are praying for another person and you do not have their permission to pray for them. The only thing that you can pray for is divine right order, divine right action, and their highest and best. Let's take the case of Aunt Betty. Aunt Betty is your favorite aunt. You love Aunt Betty, but she's in the process of making her transition. So you want to pray Aunt Betty has healing, good health. However, that may not be what Aunt Betty wants. Aunt Betty may be ready to make her transition. So again, if you do not have permission from the person, pray only for their highest and best, and for divine right action and divine right order. And then we have Thanksgiving, where we thank Spirit for this manifestation. And then we release our prayer unto the law. We don't release it to the universe. We don't release it to Spirit or to any other concept. We only release it into the law, because that's where the work happens. That's where the manifestation happens. We mentally then let go of the treatment. It is said, it is done, it goes into the law, and the law works on the good that we have established in our treatment. And we know that we have spoken, and it is now done. About another person, never use the pronoun you. Remember that the treatment is about and not to the other person. When treating for another, we say, I realize, I know, I accept. Do not state that the other person knows, realizes, or accepts, for the work is being done in your own consciousness. Examples would be, I accept for Sally, I know for Sam, I declare on behalf of Jim. Finally, remember, always use the present tense, not the past and not the future, because the past is gone, that's done. That's already been manifested, and the future is not yet. We release our prayer into the present because that is where the law is working now. The manifestation is now, not tomorrow, not 3 years from now. Anyway, let me now say a few words about feeling, because feeling is what gives power to your prayer. Feeling comes from our belief in the creative process, knowing that divine truth is flowing from our belief into the law, into manifestation. Treatment is clearly feeling the presence of Spirit. It is the fire that flows through us as we know the truth. Some feelings might include peace, excitement, love, gratitude, etc. And in conclusion, according to Holmes, every spiritual mind treatment must incorporate within it the consciousness of completion, of perfection, of fulfillment in the here and the now. There is only one healer, and this is Spirit, God. There is only one life principle, and that is the action of God within us. There is but one final law, and this is the law of mind. There is but one ultimate impulsion, and this impulsion is love. And I would like to conclude with prayer, but we're going to do it a little differently this time. I am not going to pray. You are. So I would like everyone to stand up and find a partner, face a partner that will be your prayer partner for this morning. And if you do not know that person, introduce yourself. So what we're going to do is one person is going to pray that they accept into their life one of the qualities of God. And we have some examples. If you wish to pray for another quality of God, absolutely do. So the one person says, I accept into my life the quality of love. And the partner responds, I hear you, I see you, I agree with you, and I support your request with love. And when you're complete with that, switch partners and again repeat. And when you're complete, you may sit down. And so what I know is that these prayers have already gone into the law, and they're being created, they're being manifested within the law. And let us conclude with, and so it is. Thank you.